thank you all for being here today for our new series called Presenting Work, where we give photographers who study with us the opportunity to share their work. Thank you all for joining. Most of you know, I'm Anja from StrudelmediaLive. We offer live online photography classes. We organize talks. We offer scholarships. We have a whole scholarship program. We have a YouTube channel. If you miss any of our talks, you can find them always a few weeks or sometimes months later on our YouTube channel. I want to quickly tell you about some upcoming classes and events. And we will be having some mini workshops coming up about AI photography with Stefan Frank. And also a couple of mini workshops about Lightroom if you want to refresh your Lightroom skills. And Kat Shannon will teach a class on how to get your work out into the world, how to prepare for portfolio reviews and things like that. And a new class that I'm very excited about will be about camera-less photography, and it will be taught by Daura Campos and Samantha Ortega from Brazil. And so in this class, you will learn to create chemigrams, lumen prints, film soup, and more. And you don't need an analog camera for this class, and you don't need access to a darkroom, but you can do all of this from your home. Our summer classes will be announced soon, and we will also start a new scholarship program where we offer one-on-one mentoring. So that will be announced soon as well. And Stefan Frank will have another episode of his photo book show on Tuesday, April 16. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, or at the end, you can unmute and ask directly. The talk will be about an hour long, maybe a little over, something like that. And yeah, I've been wanting to do presentations by photographers who study with us for quite a while, and so I'm very happy that we got this series started. Alan Frame did the first event when some of his students presented work that had to do with photography and poetry. And so today is our second event of this series called Presenting Work. And I feel that our students here at StrudelmediaLive, they all always work very hard in our classes, and everybody's very committed and engaged. And that's why we want to give them the opportunity to show what they create in our classes. And so this series will not only give photographers who study with us the opportunity to share work, but it's really also for you, for the community, to see what other photography enthusiasts are working on. And I hope that this will be inspiring to you, and I hope also in a way that this series will help people finish projects, because this is what this is also about. What do you do with all the photos you take in our classes, and what is a finished project? And so our three speakers today will talk about that. So I want to talk a little bit about our scholarship program. So I decided that the first event that I'm hosting in this series will be three photographers who received scholarships through StrudelmediaLive and through the scholarship fund from Heather Mattera. And I just want to tell you a little bit about this, because I'm a very, very big thank you goes to Heather, who has been so generous as to fund our scholarships. And Heather is a photographer and StrudelmediaLive student. And a while back, she couldn't take a course that she had signed up for. And she asked me if she could give it to someone. And I was thinking, well, wow, you mean give the class to someone? And I was thinking, what a great idea. And then out of this one course that Heather gave to someone, she developed a whole scholarship fund. And we have now given out about 40 scholarships to photographers in the US, Europe, Latin America, Africa, and Asia. And I'm thankful because our scholarship students add so much to our classes in so many different ways. So I feel like these scholarships add a lot to what we do here at StrudelmediaLive. I want to welcome today's presenters. It will be Maryna Shtanko from Ukraine, and she's currently based in Kiel, Germany. There will be Eugenia Patsouri from Greece, and she's based in Berlin, and Ulla Duell, who is based in Stockholm, Sweden. Today, they will not only share their diverse work, but they will also talk about the process of developing these projects. Okay, let me introduce Maryna. She will be the first one to present two projects. Maryna is a visual artist and photographer born in Poltava, Ukraine. She has a master's degree in German language and literature, and she's currently based in Kiel, Germany, where she studies photography at the Muthesius Academy of Art. In her artistic practice, Maryna questions memory, phobias, mythology, migration, and attachment to specific places. She mostly works with analog photography, but also explores bookmaking, textiles, embroidery, and text. And Maryna has exhibited her work in Ukraine, Switzerland, Austria, the US, Lithuania, Germany, and Slovenia. And thank you for listening to my kind of longish introduction today. I want to hand it over to Maryna. Maryna, please present your work and give an introduction, share the screen whenever you like. So it's all yours. Thanks for being here.
Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot for being here with us today and for your interest in our work. And yeah, I feel very excited to be here and to be able to show what we've done before. And the first project is going to be the project which is called Disconnection. So the project is was actually inspired by the course that I took at the StrudelmediaLive. And the course was called Embroidery and Mixed Media with Yolanda, who is also here today and who I'm very glad to see. We were experimenting with different media and adding different stitches and embroidery. And I don't think that I had a specific idea at the very beginning, but I started, using old photos of mine, which I did some time ago. And I kind of quickly came to this this view of the project, and then gradually I also found the idea which I actually had in my mind, because this is the photo of my aunt who came with me to Germany after Russia started a full-scale war against Ukraine. We had to leave our country and we ended up here. And I think I looked at this photo and kind of saw this, division of a person into different pieces, because I will probably tell a little bit more about the project with the photos of the project itself. These are more like the photos of the process, and for some time my working table turned into a total mess. But it was worth it. And these are already the photos of the project, of the final project. And I was working on it actually last spring when I was in a residency for the artists in Altenburg. It's a city in it's a small city in the eastern Germany. And I started taking pictures of people from Ukraine who came to Germany. I was talking to all of them and we were sharing our experience. And I noticed this thing that all of them, despite of being safe now, being in a safe place and being in a in a place where there is no danger for them, they still have some relatives or some friends or maybe their houses or pets are in Ukraine, and that's why they don't really feel complete, or they kind of feel to be divided into pieces, as if, one part of them is here and another part is in Ukraine. So that's why I started actually dividing pictures into pieces and sometimes mixing them around or putting in different places. And I also added the embroidery just to, first of all, I think my idea was to add, to try to fix the situations. If when you have a hole in your sock, you try to fix it with a needle and a thread. And I was like trying to fix it, but also another idea was that embroidery is an important cultural phenomenon in Ukraine, especially the red color. And I think it also makes me think of Ukraine immediately when I see it or when I use this medium. And I also used black and white photos. At first, I just was thinking that using black and white and red thread would work much better, but also several people, like my mom, told me this once. And after that, I've heard it several times more that after the war started, people were seeing the world in black and white colors as if the bright colors never existed at all. So, and after the residency, we also had an exhibition, and it was also a tough thing to do because we had to create or put like everything from scratch. And that's, I decided to put the pictures on the wall in the same like style, like the pictures themselves. I mean that you see that some of them are connected with the red thread, and these are actually the pictures of the same person, which is like divided into several pictures, and I'm trying to connect it like I did in the photo itself. So this was the first project, and I also wanted to just show some of the works like in real size, and they are not that big, but they are like in 3 different sizes, and it was like a lot of work to do with the embroidery, but still a lot of fun as well. And the next project, which I'm going to share, and the project, like the pictures I took earlier, but the book and the whole edition I did during this residency, and the edition was actually 30 copies. And the project is also about the war. And we, in another residency before, where I created this project, we had a specific topic, and it was like the experience of men and women during the war, how differently they experienced the war. And this made me think of this, I mean, the difference that men have to fight and kill the enemy, and women have to protect their lives and the lives of their children. And I thought of this metaphor with a flower, where women's hand hold a flower and try to protect it, and men's hand try to destroy it. And this is how the pictures appeared. And after that, I decided to also make like a small book or a zine or artist book. And I created the design myself, and also the book binding, and the printing, and all these parts were created basically during this residency. Yeah, I can stop sharing now. Yeah, so the book, and I also like tried to different types of paper, so it was also very much like a lot of physical words, again with the needles and with the threads and all these things. Yeah, so I think this is it, what I wanted to tell you about these two projects. Thank you for the
Wonderful.
invitation.
Thank you, Maryna. Let me ask you a couple of questions. I'm curious if you showed if all of the people that were in your photos in the first project, if they saw the results and what their reactions were of these images that were cut into pieces and then sewn back together.
I think yeah, most of them saw it, and most of them also were able to see the exhibition, or maybe at least I sent the photos to them after I took, well, I had the feeling that I took some time, so I had to like at least send them the photos. And I think most of them kind of very easily understood what I meant, because they actually had this feeling of division and everybody was talking about it. So I think they all really, yeah, I think they actually really said that it kind of, represents really what they feel inside.
And I asked you in one of our meetings about why you decided to not tell us about each person more. And then you said you're actually working on an environmental portrait project where you are doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, during taking these pictures, I was also taking pictures at the places where these people currently live. And initially, I was not really having a specific, like a very concrete idea that it should be outside or inside. So I was taking pictures inside as well. But later, I decided to only leave the pictures outside, especially with all those like a little bit distressed buildings, which are very typical for this city. Yeah, but parallel to that, I was also taking pictures inside at their homes. And I also noticed one thing that like the project which I'm working on now is called, like, it's the working title, Temporary Home, because people kind of live here for a very long time already. It's 2 years, but at the same time, I don't think they all think that it's for like a very long time. They kind of see this to be a temporary home or a temporary place for them. And it was just interesting to see how people try to still feel comfortable in these conditions, and how they try to, arrange the space around them to be, yeah, to feel comfortable there. And some people are trying to buy a lot of things for their new homes, even though they don't have any idea how they will get all those things back to Ukraine. But other people remain to be minimalists. Yeah, so it's interesting to see these differences.
Yeah, it's interesting for me how you started, like how you did the first project outdoors in black and white, and the second project is indoors in people's new and temporary homes. And I think I really like that the first one is outdoors. I think that that is very strong, and also that you decided to make it in black and white. You mentioned to me at some point that you want to learn how to create traditional embroidery. Have you started on that yet?
Not really, to be honest. There is so much going on. But yeah, it's still like yeah, it belongs to my plans, some future plans.
Yeah, I hope you will, because I think that that will be very strong too. I mean, actually, I guess it's also out of my own curiosity, what you would actually, how you would integrate that into your current work, into your style, into your photographic and artistic language. So I want to encourage you to do that at some point. Okay, Maryna, thank you so much. So we will now go on to Eugenia, and then at the very end, you can all ask Maryna some more questions. All right, let me introduce Eugenia. Eugenia is a Greek photographer, researcher, and neuroscientist. She is based in Berlin, and she is fascinated by vision. Photography allows her to explore the subjective sight and perception of the world. Her artistic practice focuses on the process of photography with an output that includes photo books and printmaking. And the project Eugenia will be showing was published as a book, or I could also say as a book object by StrudelmediaLive. And we'll talk more about that after her presentation. So Eugenia, if you could please introduce yourself and share your screen whenever you want to share your screen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for making the time to be here. I am always eager to learn and to see other people's process, so it makes me really happy to share mine today. I will be talking about, so coincidence resulted from a mid-August experience in Tinos Island in Greece. I happened to be there by chance, and it was a time and place that are religiously charged. So Tinos, especially in mid-August, attracts religious tourists from all over the world, who many of which actually go on a pilgrimage on their knees, starting from the harbor all the way to Evangelistria Church, that is in Tinos town. But being there, I soon realized that that's not the whole story of the island, or rather, it's not the only story. So to my eyes, there were different kinds of pilgrimages taking place in parallel. So across Tinos town, Kolibithra Beach also famously attracts visitors for the landscape it offers and the unique setting it has. So I immediately was attracted to both locations, both Kolibithra Beach, but also the town where the church was. And I was curious to observe the different pilgrimages and the different journeys that were taking place in parallel. So I decided to stay at the beach and take the bus back to town. So this decision also informed my own journey between the places, which it was certainly fragmented, but it also required of me to be present in each setting and pay close attention to what the different stories that were unfolding. And I was trying to capture those with my analog camera and the 8 rolls of film that I had with me at the moment. So it actually felt like a mission that I was on, and it evolved from capturing and photographing moments, photographs on film, to wanting to bring those photographs together in a physical space, in a physical object. So I wanted to see those unique journeys being brought together. This is where then my self-assignment was more to make the book. And I dreamed of the book as a container or as a reminder of coincidence. And then the question was, well, how does one translate an idea into a physical object that serves the project? And it's when I took the InDesign class from Edward, how to make your own photo book. And coincidence took form. It is published by StrudelmediaLive. And borrows the design from a calendar. So the pictures are connected by the same wire that crosses through them. And it can be viewed standing on a surface or hanging on a wall as well. And the viewer is also invited on their own pace to enter, to stay, to revisit at their own place. You will see the 16 pictures that are in the book. And the sequence also resulted from experimenting with analog prints. I really enjoyed this interplay between analog surfaces and prints and dummies, and also then designing on screen. And yes, I'm very grateful for the scholarship, the StrudelmediaLive Opportunity Scholarship, and also grateful for the interest in publishing the book, the StrudelmediaLive. And Edward's class was also very helpful when it also came into the printing process. So what I had to pay attention to before printing, during printing, I found a local printer here in Berlin. It's called Europrint Median. And they really understood the project and its requests. They were open to test the colors and test different kinds of paper. And yeah, so like 158 copies were printed and bound. They kindly offered me this working station where I took my time to assemble the copies. And from then on, the books were set to make their own journeys.
Evgenia, maybe show us the. You will also show the exhibition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, yes, continuing this journey, the next time I was in Pinus Island, it really made sense to me to search for a place where I could share the project there, and I was generously offered the space in Pinus town, close to the harbor and not far from the church. This is Mosfolios School, so I was able to hold an exhibition there under the Pinus Festival, and people for 15 days were able to experience the book, but also enter the book. So the way the exhibition was curated, it followed the sequence of the book. So as one enters here, from left to right, follows the sequence of the book, basically. But then halfway through the exhibition, I decided to change that as an experiment, and then I rotated pictures. It was a novel experience for me to see the photographs printed on a larger scale, because it also allowed for like a communal viewing. I think viewing a book is a more intimate experience, and I really enjoyed when I could stroll around with the guests and have a dialogue or listen to them. It was a bit different as an experience. And also the fact of being consistently in one fixed space this time, but being open to the different possibilities and the different guests that would come was also, it was very exciting, to be honest. And it meant a lot that the exhibition was held in Tinos. Here is the harbor. I think the pilgrimage starts from here, and it goes up to the church. And speaking of different guests, I was very excited when the priest showed up. So I had photographed him in the Evangelistia church. So he's here again. And I remember I got the adrenaline when he showed up because I didn't know what to expect. But he was really kind. He gave his blessing. I also got to Anja, who traveled all the way to Tinos, and it was lovely to meet in real life, actually. And the last thing is, well, the project is still traveling, and it was part of the photo book week Aarhus in Denmark, part of the open market. And this is where I met the photo book community that was curious and that is fascinated with the photo book medium. It was very inspiring to see the different ways one can do a book and one can tell a story. So I felt, really lucky to share coincidence there as well.
Right.
If you have any questions.
Eugenia, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to see these images again. So as Eugenia already mentioned, I had the opportunity to actually go to Tinos and visit her and be there for the opening, and it was amazing. Eugenia put up posters for her show all over town. I mean, there must have been 100 posters in different places. It was really very impressive. I'm mentioning this just to tell all of you that, when you have a show, when you create work, when you finish a project, you're not really done. You then still need to get it out there. So, and she did a really good job in putting up all those posters. And this whole exhibition was a real community event. Eugenia spent like 10 hours per day in that space, talking to people, explaining the project. When she wasn't there, the gallery wasn't open. So she was the one who had to unlock, but she took it very seriously and was always there. Eugenia, why did you print 158 copies? I think maybe you can talk about that a little more.
To my eyes, it's very straightforward. It's because of the date of 15th of August. And somehow it made sense to me.
But 15th of August was what? Can you repeat that? Because I wasn't too sure.
It was the date of the experience and the date where the pictures were taken. And it's significant for the island as well. So it is religiously charged as a date, but also more and more, it is a peak of the summertime in Greece. So I think it combines both of the two worlds that I saw on the island. And it's also like written on the calendar. I don't think we could see that on the flip video. So it's always the calendar is stuck basically on that date.
Right, that's always visible.
However you want to see it, it's always
right. So basically the book can be experienced in many different ways. You can hang it on the wall or you can have it on your desk. And she did the same thing in the exhibition. Halfway through the exhibition, she actually changed the sequence of the photos in the space. I want to bring Edward in, who was teaching the InDesign class. Edward, do you have anything to add about the book or the process briefly?
Well, I can say that it was really when Eugenia came into the class, she already had this idea about the way that she wanted to create the piece. And I thought, wow, that's really like kind of fascinating that it's a different and creative and accessible way to share these images. I mean, there are lots of different it's the first calendar format piece that we've done gotten out of one of my classes, and but I think it really kind of provoked me to think about it in a different way and to think what a nice thing it is that one can have it sitting someplace with different images every day, if you like, or hanging on the wall or whatever. I thought it was just a really nice way to do it. Something else, just talking about process, Evgenia came in with these very elaborate mock-ups that she had created of this piece, which were absolutely essential to understanding how the thing actually worked. Because, for me, I was trying to help her figure out how to do the thing in InDesign, and then I was like, wow, this is like, it's kind of interesting because you start thinking about typically with a zine or a book, you're thinking of like, okay, this is one page, and then on the next page it's this. But with this piece, different images on each side of the page or of the sheet, but then looking at it in different orders and that kind of thing. And it was really nice working together to bring this whole piece into fruition. And now, Evgenia, it's in its second printing. Is that right?
It's not yet on the second because I still have some copies left, but
I think you told me you have 17 copies left.
yes.
And also, Maryna, I need to we need to find out later if you still have any copies left of yours.
Yeah.
You do? Okay, very good. So Edward, maybe we go on to Ulla now. Are you fine? Okay. So let me introduce Ulla Duell to you. Ulla is a photographer based in Stockholm, Sweden. She grew up in a small town in northern Sweden, and she has spent a large portion of her adult life traveling extensively. She has lived in Vietnam, Laos, and the mountain kingdom of Lesotho in southern Africa. And before retiring, she worked with and wrote several books on management practices in central government and foreign aid. And she devotes her time to dance and to her photographic practice. And her photography focuses on exploring identity and aging. So Ulla, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Anja. Thank you to all of you being here. I'm so excited to present my work. And as Anja told you, I'm exploring themes of aging and identity through self-portraits, and I make a series dealing with these themes in many different ways. And for example, today I will show you two projects. One uses humor and high contrast, and the other one is more emotional and nostalgic and has a dreamy expression. So I will share screen and let's see. My first project that I will show you is Misslyckad. Misslyckad is a play with words in Swedish. If I translate it, it's miss successful in 2 words. But if I make it to 1 word, it's unsuccessful. I don't know if it makes sense for you, but in Swedish it's quite funny, actually. And I work with this project in the Strudel Media class, diving deep with Anja, and my goal was to exhibit my material, and through guidance from Anja, I succeeded. Misslyckaden is a project about failures, my failures. And nobody likes to fail, but we all do at some point. And the question is how we address it. And I thought, when I started this project, I thought very much about that. And what I discovered through the process was that what I once thought was a failure, I now saw as something completely different. And the feelings I associated with failures, like, for example, disappointment. What about the disappointment, frustration, and shame? And that made me reflect on my mishaps with more of humor and surrealism than dwelling on them. Altogether, there are 10 images, and Anja helped me to sequence the images for an exhibition, a parent exhibition, here in a gallery space in Stockholm. And I would very much like to show you a short video from the gallery space, so you can see for yourself what it was like. I had a room on my own, and I had bought some oranges and balloons to enhance the atmosphere in the room. It was quite a small room, but after the introduction to the exhibition here, and then I just followed the pictures are 30 by 40, so it's not very big ones.
Centimeters.
Centimeters, sorry. So what was interesting was that you have a lot of interesting dialogues with people coming there, and so about their failures. So that was very nice. I also made a scene, and I designed it myself in InDesign, and I tried to make it a little bit less conventional, to inject some humor in it. I don't know if I succeeded or not, but still, because when you're dealing with a concept like failure, you can't take yourself too seriously. It's a play in a way. I had great fun doing it. So that was my first project. The second one is quite different. It's called Bringing My Mom into the World. With this project, I would like to, I'm attempting to recreate the relationship with my mom, who passed away when I was young. And in brief, it's a project about longing, loss, and the bond between mother and child. And when I started the project, I went through several old photo albums. And when I carefully looked at old photos or photos of my mom, and when I saw in her eyes, I got the impression that I didn't know very much about her. And that was a really strange feeling. And I was longing to know more about the person beyond the role of mother. And therefore, some questions came into my mind, like, were you happy? Who were you? What dreams did you have in life? These questions that remained unanswered or unasked, since at that time I was too young, and I can imagine too preoccupied with myself. Through self-portraits and items that belong to my mother, I tried to reconstruct the memories and emotions that we shared. I haven't kept very many of these items, but this bag I kept, and this skunk. People told me that this is a skunk. I'm not quite sure, because when I Googled it, I'm not quite sure any longer. And a cup. Most of my memories are everyday moments, like, for instance, watching children's program on TV or receiving letters from her. And these memories have become significant, such as this letter, which turned out to be the last one she wrote to me. Altogether, this project contains 13 images. And the 2 yellow ones are crucial in the series. The correct face of my mom signifies that I don't know completely her as a person. And this door, yellow door without hinges or a handle, with that one I want to convey that there is no way back. I also exhibited this work last autumn in a gallery space here in Stockholm. And what was interesting was that many people told me about their mothers and their relationship to their mothers. And it was really interesting, and I learned a lot. But I also made a scene of this project too. The hands are coming, they are a bit hesitant. I also designed this scene. This is the picture of my mom. Compared to the other one, this is, I think, 32 pages. The other one was 24. Some of the images I didn't exhibit. yeah, that was all. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Ulla. Thank you so much. It's
I stop sharing.
fascinating. Yes, please stop sharing. Thank you so much, Ulla. It's so fascinating to me how different these two projects are, even though you used similar techniques. I mean, in both of them, you used self-portraiture and still life. In the second one, you also played with reenactment, which I thought was really interesting. The second one is very dreamy, mainly black and white pictures. The first one has like only the color. Well, black is not actually a color, but black, orange, and your skin tone. And then, you know, white. I always see white when I look at this project because of backdrops and the gallery space. I find it really fascinating how different they are. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got into doing self-portraits and what it means to you, and where were you coming from before you started doing self-portraits? You've been doing this for a while now, and they changed a lot over time.
Yeah, yeah. I started to put to disguise myself. That was the first project. I had a self-portrait. I think it's very practical because you're always there, and it's easy. I don't need a model. I'm just the model myself. So I think that's very good, and I have learned a lot during the years how to be relaxed in front of the camera, at least when I photograph myself. And then in the beginning, I was a bit fascinated that all my images, they were so dark, and I didn't feel the darkness myself. And then I tried to dig deeper and deeper into that, and now during the years I'm getting older and older, and then it's more about aging and things like that. So now it's changed every day. Now I'm into a project because I'm moving. I'm selling my house, and I'm moving, and I'm trying to document it by self-portrait, and so let's see what that will be. Perhaps something totally different.
I'm curious to see those images. Thank you, Ulla. I would like to open it up to questions. So you can ask Maryna, you can ask Eugenia, you can ask Ulla. Please just unmute and ask. You can ask about the process. You can ask about, I don't know, anything. Who has a question? Yolanda, if you want to add anything, feel free to do so, but you don't have to. I didn't warn you.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
For Maryna. I'm just curious about the photo with the big, not like hat, but it's a big, I don't know what it is, but it's curious. It's a huge round, and I don't know whether it's on a body or on a tree. Do you know?
Probably a question to Eugenia.
Yeah.
Eugenia, I'm sorry, Eugenia.
Yes.
Yeah, that
On the
picture,
beach.
it kept
Okay.
coming. Yeah, on the beach. I was curious about. That was such a fascinating photo. What was it like on a person? Was it with the legs or?
Evgenia, can you explain that image, please?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the question. It is a sculpture that is also functional. So it is a beach umbrella, basically, that is made out of wood that was found like this, the two legs. That was not artificial. So they found it like this at the beach. And then this big hat was made as an umbrella. But like you say, in my eyes, it could have been thousands of other things. That's why it captivated my eye.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe two limbs of a tree, or I had several different ideas, but I
Yeah.
was
Thank
curious
you, Jane.
about I wish you could
Um,
show that picture again. I love that picture.
Who else? Thank you, Jane.
I would like to say to Maryna that it's so good to see you again, and Samuel, of course, also to see Samuel again. And what I know your work, I knew your work already, and I'm always surprised that with adding so little, and in fact doing so little, just cutting and embroidering with one color, one kind of stitch. Well, you learned many stitches during my classes. You give this intimate portrait of your life and how you're doing now. I think this is really, really exquisite. That's what I would like to tell you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm also very glad to see you today here. And I just wanted also like to comment very quickly that I think that photography is already a very rich medium, and that you can really find a lots of different ways to tell a story, or if you have an idea, to show it in a very unique way. But when you add some other media, it kind of opens up a lot of possibility for you to use it in a different way and to tell a story even more in a more interesting way. So yeah, highly recommend the course with Yolanda.
Thank you, Maryna. Anne, you had a question. Can you unmute? You're muted. I don't hear you.
Sorry about this. I have a question for Ulla. I saw the picture of your closed door in color, yellow, and the color itself was very expressive. And after that, you published a book in black and white. And I was wondering if, aside from practical reasons to produce a book in black and white, if you had more thoughts about abandoning the color for another, for a black and white version of your images.
It was also practical because it's a bit difficult to print color and black and white. All the other pictures was black and white, not these two, the cracked face of my mom and the door. So I decided to make all of them black and white in the scene. Was that your question, or did I?
Yeah, I was wondering. I mean, it's both versions are very expressive. It's also a transformation. I was curious about your thoughts.
Yeah,
and that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, I really like that the cover stayed in color. I think that was really a nice choice that you did that. Let's see.
I just wanted to mention quickly, I put a link to Eugenia's book in the chat if you want to see more information about it.
Very good. Let me ask Maryna. Maryna, how many books do you still have left, and how can people get them? How can people buy them? Should they contact you through Instagram?
Yeah, actually Instagram would work for sure, or I can also add a link to my website, to the like where you can find more information about the book. Yeah, and I still have some copies, I think about 7 or so.
Okay.
Yeah,
good. And Ulla, do you still have any of your zines left?
Yeah, the one Misslyckad. Yeah, the other one is no. I have just one left.
Oh, one left. Well, you have to keep one for yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
I guess
yeah.
you don't have any left. Okay. Are there any more comments or questions?
Can I say something?
Ellen, yes, of course.
Yes. Firstly, I want to thank the 3 ladies that presented their very personal work, and I liked each one. They're very, very different, but yet at the same time similar. It's opening up and showing yourself via your work and your photography, and I really did enjoy each one of them, but especially Mariana's stuff of how her life is now, being separated from her home country, from the country where she came from, and connecting up with people like herself living in a foreign land and getting on with it. But I really like the embroidery attempt, the addition of that to connect and lead us through your journey. I really like that a lot, and I feel sorry for all of you, believe me, having to be there, but at least you're safe. Nevertheless, thank you again. I really did appreciate everything. All three of you did some really nice work. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. All right, so then I want to thank all of you for being here and for supporting Eugenia, Ulla, and Maryna. I really appreciate that. And we will do more of these where people who study with us get to share their work. Eugenia, Maryna, Ulla, please stay so that we can chat a little after. Yolanda, if you have another minute, please do that as well. Maybe Heather. Otherwise, if anybody wants to say hello, you can stay. Otherwise, I want to thank you for being here, and we will see you at our next talk. Thanks so much.